welcome to The Explainer. So today we are diving into a linguistic overlap that completely changes the game when you're trying to learn a new language. If you're a Korean speaker who's trying to learn Japanese, you actually have this massive hidden advantage when it comes to tackling Japanese kanji. It's literally a linguistic shortcut that's been hiding in plain sight, right inside your native vocabulary. Okay, let's be real for a second. We've all been there, and I want to acknowledge that common frustration pretty much every beginner faces. You look at Japanese, and suddenly you're staring down thousands of complex, totally unfamiliar characters. The thought of trying to blindly memorize all of them from absolute scratch, it can make you feel like you've hit this massive, impossible-to-climb wall. It is exhausting just thinking about it, right? Well, you can go ahead and take a deep breath. Seriously, take a breath and smile. Because the truth is, if you speak Korean, you absolutely do not have to start from zero. You actually already know half of the material. Our source material today breaks down exactly why this is, and it's all about the deeply shared history of our languages. Now, this foundational insight from our sources is what shifts our entire perspective. For centuries, Korea, China, and Japan have shared what's known as a Hanja, or Chinese character, cultural sphere. Because these nations borrowed from the exact same root writing system, the way these characters sound evolved in highly connected ways, which means we can actually deduce or just predict how a word is going to sound in Japanese simply based on how it sounds in Korean. This leads us to this brilliantly simple three-step cognitive process that directly links your native tongue right to Japanese pronunciation. So step 1, you look at a kanji character and just recall the Korean Hanja sound for it. Step 2, you apply a really predictable phonetic shift. And step 3, you just speak the Japanese onyomi, which is the sound-based reading of that character. You're basically using Korean as a bridge to walk right over into Japanese fluency.
But here's the crucial point we need to clarify. You have to understand the difference between the two ways Japanese characters are actually read. Japanese has onyomi, the sound-based readings derived from Chinese, and kunyomi, the native Japanese meaning-based readings. Our sources point out that while the meaning-based kunyomi developed entirely independently in Japan, and yeah, those have to be memorized, the sound-based onyomi readings follow this beautiful, predictable rule that perfectly mirrors your Korean Hanja pronunciation.
Let's anchor this to a real, tangible example. Let's look at the dictionary profile for a super common character, the one representing the number 10,000. Now, in Korean, we see this character all the time. But instead of trying to learn it as a brand new, isolated piece of information in Japanese, let's just apply our new framework to it. This illustrates that direct connection perfectly. The Hanja character for 10,000 is pronounced man in Korean. Now look at the Japanese onyomi reading. It's pronounced exactly as man, or sometimes with a really slight variation as ban. You see? You didn't even have to memorize a new sound, you just had to recognize the pattern. Check out how fast this builds your vocabulary. We're taking words you already know in Korean and just effortlessly shifting them to Japanese. Take the phrase 10,000 years. The Korean pronunciation is manyan. In Japanese, it's mandan. Or the concept for what if, which literally translates to 10,000 days. Korean says manya, Japanese says money. It is practically the exact same sound. Now, what about that slight variation we mentioned a second ago, where the M shifts to a B sound? Well, even when the pronunciation shifts slightly from man to ban, the pattern stays incredibly tight and undeniable. Take the word for all nations. In Korean, it's mangguk. In Japanese, it's bankoku. Omnipotence in Korean is mannung. In Japanese, it's banno. The underlying linguistic DNA is exactly the same across all of these practical examples. So, to really cement this in your brain, you should adopt a new study strategy. Never ever study a character in total isolation. Always consciously pair the similar-sounding Korean and Japanese words together in your mind. Treat them like siblings. By linking the new Japanese sound to the deeply ingrained Korean sound you already have in your brain, you're going to lock in that memory 10 times faster. And once you grasp this root sound strategy, even massive, intimidating compound words become incredibly simple to guess and remember. Let's look at some building blocks. 1 million is baekman in Korean, which becomes hakyoman in Japanese. So what about a huge word like millionaire? In Korean, that's baekmanjongja. Applying our exact pattern, it effortlessly translates to hakyoman choja in Japanese. Billionaire, ikmanjongja, becomes okumanchoja. You are literally just swapping out phonetic Lego blocks. You know, the number 10,000 represents far more than just the specific character we studied today. It really represents the sheer volume of vocabulary this framework empowers you to unlock by simply recognizing these phonetic bridges between Korean Hanja and Japanese onyomi. You are immediately lowering the barrier to entry. You're granting yourself access to thousands of words with minimal rote memorization. I want to leave you with this empowering thought. Your native language isn't just some separate system you have to turn off when you're learning Japanese. It is actually the ultimate cheat code for mastering it. By finding these patterns, you turn an intimidating wall into a wide open door. So, as you go about your day, ask yourself, what other linguistic connections are hiding in the words you use every single day? Keep exploring, keep connecting those phonetic dots, and watch your language skills absolutely take off.